Great to see everybody. Hopefully you all had a wonderful holiday break. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started. Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to the January MAC at our new time and day of the month. Hopefully this still works for everybody's calendars. I know that we were meeting the second Monday of the month, but we recently switched it to the third Tuesday of the month. So if we have persistent conflicts, then we'll have to reevaluate the new time that we selected. But for the first few months or so, we'll go with this date and time. We have a pretty light agenda today, but I just wanted to say that after you register for this, for this Zoom, you should get a one-tap click-in if you have any internet issues. I know that some of my internet's been spotty since I came back to work after vacation, but you won't be able to see any of the presentations, but you can click on that and listen to the discussion. Just a couple housekeeping. I know that we're all pros at this by now, but it's always good to refresh. We ask that people mute themselves unless they're speaking, and you can do that by clicking on the mute button in the bottom left-hand corner. Also, if you're speaking, it helps for communication if you have your video on. You can see who else is participating in this meeting by clicking on participants at the bottom center. And you can click on chat in the center. At this point, I'll ask everybody to click on chat and add your name and your organization to the chat feature. That way we can keep better roll of who's, not roll, but like we can keep account of who's attending and who we need to reach out to with follow-up questions or anything like that. Just another reminder that the MAC is the third Tuesday from 1 to 2:30. And really the intent of this is to do cross-sector networking between human services organizations, transportation providers, and transportation planners. It's also to build capacity of transportation supports in Boulder County region, implement a MAC work plan, a Mobility and Access Coalition work plan that's based on the Mobility and Access for All Ages and Abilities plan, get routine presentations from other planning efforts and other community partners in the area so that we can have input and know what's going on the transportation front here in Boulder County. Basically promote inclusive planning processes and then get project updates on any transportation projects that impact Boulder County residents. Again, the Mobility and Access Coalition really focuses on transportation equity. We believe that transportation access is essential to accessing opportunity, having a improving quality of life, and having people meet their basic needs. We do this by ensuring that people have multiple transportation options, or trying to ensure that people have multiple transportation options and that they know how to use them in backup situations. Here is our agenda for today. We're going to start with an icebreaker session, and then we have some updates. We'll get into the Mobility Heroes selection, and then we'll do some brainstorming around 2024 presentations that we want. So we'll go ahead and start with the icebreaker. You'll have about 10 minutes in your icebreaker, or to do icebreakers. I'm gonna stop sharing and I'll create 6 different breakout rooms. Let's see what that does for, and then you'll basically tell your name, your organization, and if there's any 2024 things that you're expecting for your organization. So this is really focused on any updates, anything new that's happening in your organization, any major planning efforts that you might have in 2024. So I'll go ahead and open this up. Thank you, Lindsay, for sharing the bill. But I'll go ahead and open this up and you'll be assigned to your breakout rooms. So welcome back from the small group breakouts. We still have people trickling back in. I think everybody's back for the most part, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. So what cool highlights did your organizations talk about in the breakout sessions? Does anybody wanna volunteer first to talk about any cool 2024 updates that you all wanted to share with the group?
This is Julie Pillar from Sister Cammie Community Center, and we were able to get eco passes for our employees as a benefit that at least will be for the first 2 years, and we'll see after that. So super excited about actually being able to change some habits and take the bus, because when it's a benefit and free, we're hoping many more employees will change their transportation habits.
That's wonderful. That's great news, Julie. I just remember when I first took over the LCC, and I think Darren Wagner might have been working on trying to get the bus stop moved like near where you all are. So it's just great to see that progression from like not having any transit stops near you to having now like 2 buses that stop by you, and then you all having eco passes. That's great. It's good to see that progress over time. Who else has any updates from their breakout rooms that they wanted to share with the group?
I can share from the RTD civil rights side of things. Hi, everyone. My name is Danny, Transit Equity Specialist at RTD. So the one thing I said that I'm really excited about this year is to improve and strengthen relationship building and education in the immigrant and refugee community spaces. So essentially, what does that mean? It means doing workshops on applying for discount programs and essentially how to use RTD as a whole, right? And in addition to that, I would love to do, ride-alongs focusing on those community members and new arrivals. So super excited about that. And then 2 other things I didn't mention in the breakout rooms that I would like to mention now. The upcoming Transit Assistance Grant Program, which Theresa is here to speak about today. And then 2, RTD is going to be conducting a system-wide assessment of our bus stop infrastructure, which I'm super excited about. I'm on the project management team for that, so happy to provide more information as we go through that process.
Those are great updates. Looking forward to all of that. So any way that we can help y'all out, get the word out or anything, we'd be more than happy to. Great. Any other updates? We'll do about 2 or 3 more updates before we move on. Who else has anything else that they're looking forward to in 2024?
I'll go. So Z-Trip is opening a location in Denver. So our Denver office, we moved in January 1. We're going to start putting drivers on the road in Denver, February 5th. And so as I was telling people, I'm super excited about this because by adding that office in Denver is going to create more transportation connectivity between Denver, Boulder County, Broomfield, all of that. And I think that's going to help overall the transportation gaps that we have seen since we haven't had a Denver office in over 5 years.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, looking forward to that.
And then with that note, I told people, if you're trying to get a hold of me, because I'm exhausted and driving between Denver and Longmont and Colorado Springs so much recently, if you don't get a hold of me, try again if you need me. So I do apologize. I'm slightly overwhelmed with the new thing because I just want it to be so good.
That's good advice for everybody. If you can't get a hold of me, keep pestering me.
Please, I'm never upset about that.
Sounds good. Well, that's exciting news. Good to see that happening, Megan. Next, Zoe, I see your hands up.
Hi there. I just wanted to share that Via's 45th birthday is this year. Also, we have been operating the Hop in Boulder for 30 years as of this year. And we're very excited about all of that. You can stay tuned for more info about how to celebrate with us. And I'll just leave our little about page in the chat for anyone who's interested in seeing how we've grown over the years.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Huge accomplishment. Frank, I'm assuming you want to piggyback off of what Zoe said?
Yeah, just real quickly, we also recently created a community benefit statement that describes the benefits of working with VIA, and we'll share that with you and figure out how to share that more broadly.
Yeah, wonderful. Great. Thank you. Lindsay?
Is it okay if I talk about the Senate bill really quick?
Of course.
Okay, so And the reason I'm talking about this here too is this bill would bring more funds into area agencies on aging. That we have 16 of them across the state of Colorado, and we have one in Boulder County that's only serving Boulder County. And one of the things that we do is fund services in the community, and our base funding from state general funds has not gone up since 2018. We did have a lot of one-time funds through COVID, like many other organizations were able to push those out to service providers, including transportation service providers. But we really need to see this base increase so we can increase the services that we provide, not only because cost has gone up, because our population is aging. We're going from about 11,000 folks who are 80 plus in our community now to over 38,000 by 2050. So anybody who can show some support for Senate Bill 24040 at the state right now, we'd love to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And Lindsay did put links to that Senate bill and then also some information on the Aging Caucus in the chat. So it was posted at 1:07. So you can scroll up to see those if you need to. Any other last minute updates? Okay, Frank, do you want to give another update, or is your hand still up from previously?
Oh yeah, no, it was still up, sorry.
Sounds good. So I have a quick update. So Mobility for All is kind of doing a rebranding. And so one thing that I'd like to get your input on is a color scheme for our new logo. So this will be 2024 logo change. So I'll go ahead and share this right now. You should see 4 different color combos. Did you see this? So there's number 1, which is pretty consistent with our current logo. It just is changing the red to like magenta and pink. So it's orange, pink, magenta, yellow. Number 2 is like a teal green, orange, pink, and green. Number 3 is green, blue, kind of a teal blue, and orange. And then the last one is green, blue, purple, and pink. So I'm gonna do like an informal little poll with these. So go ahead and you'll get to rank your top ones and like first, second, third in Menti. So let me go ahead and pull up the Menti. So here is the code. So if you go to menti.com and enter in the code, you can vote, or you can click on the link that I just put in the chat to vote. And so these logos are really tiny here on this side. So let me know once you all are in, just go ahead and push that heart button. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 people in. Anybody else having a hard time? I can repeat that code. You go to menti.com on your phone or in a tab, and you can enter 5818448. I'll go ahead and type that in again. So 5818448, or you can click that link that's in the chat and it will open it up in another browser. So we have 19 people. So it looks like we have item number 4 is ranked first. Let's see, how many more people do we have? How many people are in the call? I can't see, Jessica.
We have 36 people in the call.
Okay.
Minus like 4 of us.
Yeah.
Hey, Angel.
Yeah.
See, I have a question, and I put this in the chat. Do you have these in grayscale so we could see the shade differences between each?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't believe we do at this point. Let me go ahead and pull it up and see. We have them in black and white. They're giving us some like on different backgrounds, like what they would look like.
I was just wanting to make sure that the people didn't look sort of homogenous with the shades, but I can't, like, I'm not graphic design. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Here, these are just, this is all one color gray.
Yeah.
It's not like, so it looks like we don't have like a different gray scale. We just have the gray version.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Zoe was asking in the chat which one is best for people who are colorblind. It's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't know. We can ask our consultant about that.
Yeah. Elaine is excited about teal and purple.
So we have about 30 people who have taken it, and we've also put this question out to our division. So we'll let you know next month what the big reveal is. Also, just to let you know, we've basically like done some updates to our social media branding as well. So we have a social media grid, like templates that were created. So watch out for Mobility for All on Instagram, X, Facebook, and you'll see our updated branding. Okay. Let me go ahead and stop sharing if I can find out how.
Oh, I'm excited. Is that the results? I'm very serious about color. I'm very excited about this.
That's great. Yeah, so when I stopped sharing, Sarah, it was 4, 3, 2, and 1 were like kind of the order. So it was kind of reversed backwards.
Oh, nice. I like number 4 the best, so that's awesome.
Sounds good. I'm glad you didn't buy us the results ahead of time, but we're good.
No.
Yes, we are getting a facelift. I did say in another format that we're getting a glow up, so I'm excited.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our other updates. The first item that we have for our update is farewell to Cammie Edson. So she's not here today because she had a flight delay coming back from her daughter's volleyball tournament. But Cammie has accepted a position with the city of Longmont as their Vision Zero program manager. So we are super sad to see her move on, but we're happy that we get to still keep working with her when she moves on to Longmont. We are going to send out a card that people can sign, a virtual card, wishing her farewell. She's been with the county for about 10 years now. So we will be celebrating all of her successes, and it's kind of bittersweet, like seeing her move on and like have a wonderful position that's really close to home and everything is really heartwarming, but at the same time we'll miss her as well. So I will go ahead and send out via email a card for everybody to sign, and if you can add pictures to the card or just like well wishes, that would be really great. Her last day with the county is going to be February 1st. So she has a pretty long transition time, like 3 weeks. I guess it's not super long, but we'll be working on getting her projects transitioned over to different teammates and trying to set up that plan for keeping her projects going. Any questions, comments? Okay. The next item that we have is that IntelliRide is rebranding their service. So IntelliRide is the broker for Medicaid non-emergency medical transportation for the 9-county Denver metro region. So they have always been owned by Transdev, but their new brand is called Transdev Health Solutions, I believe. But they are trying to revamp their advisory board, their community advisory board. So if you know of any of your clients that depend on Medicaid transportation and would like to have their opinions included in the formation of like the implementation of any NEMT services, please forward them the email. I sent you an email in December. I'll go ahead and re-forward it after this meeting, but they are accepting applications through the end of this month. It's really important. We've historically had a lot of challenges with non-emergency medical transportation, just because they're coordinating with a bunch of just different transportation providers. And it's a really good opportunity to make sure that consumers and people who work with Medicaid consumers have their voices heard in the process. Do you have any questions on the Transdev Medicaid non-emergency medical transportation board?
Angel, I see a question in the chat. I think that answer is yes. Is like, we're hiring a replacement for Cammie, correct?
Yes, we are hiring a replacement for Cammie. We're going to be looking at all of the duties that Mobility for All has, and we're going to be like assessing like how we want to organize the structure. So another change, I guess, to Mobility for All is that we successfully got approval to merge 3 hourly positions into 1 full-time equivalent position. And that position will be announced on July 1st. So after July, we'll have 4 full-time equivalents. So myself, Jessica, and then Cammie's position, and then the new position. And then we'll have 2 hourly positions. So currently we have 5 hourly part-time positions. 3 of those are being merged into a full-time equivalent. So we have a lot of changes going on. So we're looking holistically at all of our duties, and we're doing this next week with Cammie and seeing who's going to take on her current duties and how we want to restructure with the merger that we did with youth. Does that answer your question, Amy?
It does. And then one of them is bilingual required, correct?
So 2 of the FTEs are going to be bilingual required.
2 of them.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we have 2 full-time equivalents that are going to be, we just don't know which ones. And we're looking at like how we're going to divide up the duties and what makes sense from a language access standpoint.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angel.
Thank you.
I guess I was also wondering how long the Transdev thing's going to be open for.
It closes at the end of January, and I'll re-forward, I'll send you the email again if you want to apply for that, or you know if anybody wants to apply.
Perfect. Thank
Great.
you.
So the next update we have is with Theresa Rinker from RTD. And Theresa, I didn't know if you had a slide deck or if you just wanted to speak.
I have a short slide deck.
Okay.
I can share my screen.
Great. And Theresa Rinker, I forget what your actual title is, Theresa. She does everything, but like, she's in charge of
manager of market development. So in charge of all the past programs.
Yeah, wonderful. So she came here today to talk to us about the transit assistance grants.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can.
All right, let me go from the beginning here. All right. So as Angel said, we're here today to talk about the Transit Assistance Grant Program, fondly known as TAG. How did we get here? So you're probably aware we did a very long fare study and equity analysis of all of our fares. We did a huge overhaul of everything. And then out of that came this Transit Grant Assistance Program, and it's designed to help organizations that are serving clients with immediate needs. It's providing grants of up to $50,000 per calendar year in the form of 10-ride ticket books. And the dollar amount will be determined based on how many applications we have, how many awardees we have. So the grants can be anywhere from, a small amount all the way up to $50,000. As I stated, we did the system-wide fare study and equity analysis. And this program is meant to be a stopgap for customers waiting to enroll in our LIVE program. And if you're not familiar with LIVE, it is our income-based program. And there are several changes that have occurred to this program as well as a result of this fare study. And we'll be doing a lot of outreach in tandem with this TAG program and the LIVE expansion part of the program as well. This basically promotes increased independence and access to essential services and employment resources. And we have set aside a total of $1 million for 2024 for this program. And who is eligible? So agencies or organizations, they have to be a 501(c)(3), a governmental agency, or a social services agency, or they can have a fiscal sponsor. We get a lot of questions, are cities allowed to apply? They would be considered a governmental agency. Same with counties and human services and whatnot. And to be eligible, organizations must meet these following minimum requirements. So serve immediate needs clients. And we'll get to the website information, but on our website, we have a list of what is defined as immediate needs. We did a survey with a lot of our external partners, and we elicited a lot of feedback on what the definition would be of this. And then they must use tickets to help immediate needs clients, be in good account standing with RTD, and agree to distribute the tickets to its clients. And then we'll also require some reporting, and in those we'll supply the form to our customers, and then we just ask that those are filled out. We're looking to determine like how many of the tickets were used, and then approximately how many immediate clients' needs were served. We don't ask for any personal identifying information about clients, just an approximate number on how many were served. We don't need names, we don't need addresses or anything personal about your clients. So the application, here's the overview. So we have a dedicated page on our website. There's the link there. The applications did open today. So there's a form that allows you to complete your information and uploads particular documents, which we'll go over. And then when you hit submit, it automatically goes to us. However, if you desire to actually mail it, you can do that as well. Don't do both, just submit it or download and mail to us. And all the information on where to send it is on the website. There are 4 things you will need to apply. Number 1, copy of your agency's 501(c)(3) status letter from the IRS. If you're a governmental agency, we will want your federal tax ID number. If you happen to have a fiscal sponsor who is a 501(c)(3), then you'll provide their information. Number 2, a letter from your agency on letterhead dated and signed by, we say CEO or agency director, whomever is qualified to sign on behalf of the agency. We'll be asking, how does your agency serve immediate needs clients? How many immediate needs clients do you serve that need transit, and how many do you serve annually? And what your intended use of the awarded tickets will be. We'll look for a copy of your mission statement and a copy of your W-9. Tickets are not for resale and must be given to your clients free of cost. And then the reports that we mentioned, they'll be due on June 14th, September 13th, and December 13th. And so, like I said, we'll email the awardees the reporting form, and then you'll simply just fill out the numbers in there. So here are some timelines for this program. As I mentioned, the applications are open today. They close on February 29th. We had a couple of pre-application webinars on the 9th and 10th, and then we're doing sessions like we're doing today as well to talk to other customers. And then once that application period closes, the grants will be announced on March 18th. And then we'll start fulfilling and dispersing the ticket books to each agency that's awarded. And then again, here are the report dates that will be required as part of this program. And then last but not least, here are some resources. So we have a dedicated email address, tagprogram@rtd-denver.com. We have a dedicated phone number, 303-299-2132. Please select option 2 if you're choosing to call us. If you select option 1, it's going to direct you to our customer care department. And then when you're calling that number, please leave a voicemail. It is a phone tree. We don't have someone sitting there actually answering it. However, our team members will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. And then last but not least, we have our dedicated website for this program. It's got a wealth of information. We'll be getting a recording of one of those webinars I mentioned up there, and we'll be developing an FAQ, which we'll also have on there for you. So there's a lot of good information on there. And with that, that was short and sweet. I will stop sharing my screen.
So it looks like Carla has a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question in regards of employers. Would the Latino Chamber qualify with, we're a 501c6, but we can find a fiscal sponsor, but would we qualify for these to provide? There are many employers that have expressed that they would like their employees to attend our events, and we have at least 4 to 5 events a month, but they can't because of transportation issues. Would we qualify for these or not?
Yeah, that would not be considered an immediate needs. So
Okay.
yeah, go check out our website. We have a whole list of defining what immediate needs are, but basically it's unhoused, domestic violence shelters, people coming out of incarceration, medical needs, education, training, and so on.
Got
Just
it.
check out our website because we do have a thorough list there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Theresa. So it looks like Elaine has a question as well.
Hi, Elaine.
Elaine, you're still muted if you're talking right now. So it looks like Elaine's still not able to mute. You can type your question in the chat, Elaine. In the meantime, Theresa, how does this program intersect with the LIVE program and as far as getting people signed up for LIVE?
That is a great question, and I did not touch on that in this presentation. One of the requirements of this program, we're asking the agencies that are awarded to minimum promote our LIVE program, and we'll provide all of the materials. We're putting together a toolkit for the LIVE program. And then if agencies are able, if they're more staffed and equipped to help customers apply for the program, that would be great too. But basically the TAG program is a kind of a stopgap to help get customers assigned and applying for LIVE and get on that discount. And so you'll see a lot of things coming out with LIVE. We're going to be doing a lot of open houses in the first quarter. We'll be inviting all of our nonprofit partners to come attend to learn more about LIVE and the changes that are coming. But some of the good things are the discount went from 40 to 50%, and they can pay with cash on buses now, which is fabulous. And in March, you'll see more changes coming. The FPL currently is 185%. It will increase to 250%. And it'll extend to Access-a-Ride customers as well. We'll be implementing an Access-a-Ride LIVE ticket book. And then with our new fares, all discounted fares are valid for all of our services, including airport trips. And so these two programs literally go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for answering that. So Elaine wants to know about outreach. How do entities like Boulder Shelter find out when they are not here on calls like this? So how are you reaching out to other entities besides the LCCs? So
Boulder Shelter is actually, I believe, part of our nonprofit program. I can double check, but we've been sending out a lot of communications to an extensive list we have with nonprofits, with CBOs, and I know Danny here on the call has a network that she's been reaching out to as well. So we did a press release, and we'll be doing some more communications of that nature.
Wonderful. And just to underscore, it's for populations that would potentially qualify for LIVE, but who are having a hard time getting the LIVE card in time. So nonprofits can give them like just the free bus passes while they sign up for LIVE.
Yeah, correct. And one of the other questions we've received is, do you have to give a full 10-ride ticket book to one client? The answer is no. It's based on the client's needs. So maybe they need a trip or maybe they need 2 trips. It's really up to the agency to determine that.
Okay, wonderful. And as far as like if you get more applications than the $1 million that you have funding for, how are you going to prioritize selecting the projects?
So we have a rubric that we'll be going through, and then we're creating a tier based on, how many, for example, one of the questions that we ask when the agency applies is how many immediate needs clients do they serve annually? We'll be taking a look at those different features to determine who gets how much of this pot. Because as you know, $1 million sounds a lot, but it's not going to go that far when we have I anticipate we're going to have a lot of applications.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just add one thing? Sorry. Yeah. Theresa, you didn't mention this, but the grant is non-competitive, just letting you know. So.
Oh yeah, thanks, Jyotsna. And
Jyotsna, what does that mean? It's non-competitive. Can you elaborate a little bit more, Jyotsna?
Basically, there's not like, if one organization gets it, that doesn't mean you won't get it. It's based on what your, like I said, we have a grading criteria, and we look at that based on what the needs of your particular organization are. So you're not in competition, like it's not ranked like, 1 to 10 are getting it, so 11 through 20 aren't, or whatever. So you have a fair shot at getting it, and again, the cap is 1 million. So other than that.
Okay, wonderful. In that case, is it like first come, first serve, or is it like, how are you gonna know?
No, it's not first come, first serve. So as long as the applications are received in our application period, on the 29th will be the last day, and then that application process will shut down and you'll no longer be able to apply. Then we're gonna, like Justin said, we're gonna do an assessment of everybody that's applied. We have the criteria we go through. As long as the agency meets all that criteria, they'll be awarded, and then we'll be working out on how much the award is for each agency.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, and then Justin put the email address in the chat. We'll also include this in the newsletter that will go out next week. So you'll have information on that as well. But if you don't have any other questions for Theresa or Jyotsna, we can go ahead and move on. And then you can just send those questions to the tag program at RTD. I just want to thank you both for attending. I appreciate the update, and I appreciate this program, because there are a lot of cash-strapped nonprofits that aren't able to provide transportation supports, or they go through their transportation support budget like super quickly. So thank you for thinking outside of the box on this.
Yep. It was all based on feedback that we received to that FAIR study. And one last thing that I want to note before we move on is the other question that came up is if the agency that gets the award runs out of the 10 right ticket books, can they continue to purchase product? And the answer is yes. And we have a nonprofit program. If you're not familiar with that, we can certainly send information about our nonprofit program as well.
And the nonprofit program is for 50% off tickets still, is that?
No, that discount went away quite a while ago. That was with our last fare change in 2019. Okay. But the advantages of being in the nonprofit program is you do have an account with us that you can order product. You also have a direct link to our team. And so we send out communications, we can help, assist. And the other thing that we implemented is a 10% bulk discount. And so any organization that's purchasing $1,500 or more of product is eligible for this 10% bulk discount.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to the open house, the series of open houses on the LIVE program, to be able to share that with everybody. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. So the next update that we have on our agenda is from Zoe. She's going to provide us a couple of updates for VIA.
Thanks, and Frank might want to jump in and share as well, but I'll get started. I wanted to share.
You go ahead, Zoe. Thanks,
Frank. So first things first, I wanted to share this really great article about VIA Mobility Services in the Boulder Weekly. This came out about 4 weeks ago. Their editor-in-chief, Shay Castle, came and interviewed Frank and our director of operations, Lisa Bitzer, and wrote this excellent piece all about our crisis response work. I think a lot of you already know VIA is a second responder for Boulder County, and we have also stepped up in more of a first response when it came to the Marshall wildfire, actively driving and evacuating about 100 residents with mobility limitations, actively during the fire, and then in the next few weeks following that. I will just put the link in the chat once I'm done sharing my screen. It's a really great story, so I hope you will check it out. The other thing that I wanted to lead that into is the new community benefit statement that Frank had mentioned earlier, and I shared that link in the chat, but I'll post it again. When local governments and businesses and other entities hire VIA Mobility Services to operate a transportation service, there's a lot more benefit than just that particular service. Frank wrote this up, it's really great. It talks about how all the dollars in our contract services are reinvested into community paratransit, our crisis response, environmental sustainability. I had mentioned in the icebreaker that we're excited to welcome our first electric vehicles this year. All of our contracts help support and move us forward on our renewable energy goals and sustainability goals. And then this really great piece that's a little newer for us is the workforce training and development. What was it, just 2 weeks ago, we welcomed our first high school intern who we are training in partnership with CareerWise Colorado to become an EV mechanic. We're really excited about all that we are going through and just wanted to connect that when we're out there for 30 years operating the hop, when we're out there for, I think it's more than 20 that we've been operating FlexRide, and now we're operating all of RTD's FlexRide service. All of those dollars stay in our community and it makes us all stronger. So I'll put these links in the chat. I don't know, Frank, if you wanted to speak to that. That was my
You did great, Zoe. Thank you.
We are so appreciative of VIA's support during disasters. You all are always willing to step up and great collaborators and communicators. Thank you. I just put those in there, Zoe. Sorry, I beat you to it.
Thank you, Angel.
But yeah, thank you so much for being a wonderful partner. So does anybody have any questions for Zoe or Frank? It says, Sarah has one. VIA's hiring drivers right now, correct? Oh, and you said, yes, you are.
Thank you.
I'll put our career page in the chat. Yeah, we are.
Oh, lovely.
Hiring.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. What other questions do you all have for VIA? I have one question. If organizations want to contract with you for just one trip to go to like a festival or something like that, do you all have a standard a standard fee schedule that you can share with everybody? I can send it out via email.
Yes, I have a hire us page and I can put that in the chat too. We do one-off trips. Our rate is the most competitive one you'll find in the area. It's $135 an hour per vehicle, and we will right size that vehicle for you. And here is that link.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I know that that's one thing that we do get questions on is how do people get shuttles specifically for events? And so we always send them your way, but great.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, we give them the information for the DRMAC Getting There guide with all the transportation providers, and yeah, great. If there's no questions for Zoe, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Stephanie O'Neill from DRMAC.
I think Joan's raising her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see. Oh, sorry.
Hi, I just wanted to make you aware, Circle of Care used VVSD for our transportation this past summer for our paratransportation to Chautauqua, and they charged $39 an hour.
Thank you, Joan.
So I think for very limited nonprofits trying to advocate for maximizing senior transportation, $39 an hour is a winner. And it's an ADA bus. So that's what we needed.
Okay. Well, we'll reach out to the school districts also to see if they could also send the same information, and that we can have everything in one place. So thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay. Thanks, Joan. I'll turn it over to Stephanie O'Neill, who will talk about DRMAC updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Angel. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie with DRMAC, and I just kind of wanted to give a quick share update. I believe I spoke about this at the last meeting, maybe, but just kind of wanted to share again. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. We are hosting an LCC appreciation lunch. For those who don't know all the acronyms, LCC is just Local Coordinating Council, and this group is part of that network of counties that are included in those local coordinating councils. So if anyone is around tomorrow from 11 to 1 and wants to join us, we're hosting an appreciation lunch. It is in Denver, so I know with the recent weather and everything, it might be a little tricky to get down to Denver, but everyone's welcome to join if you want. It's at 2825 High Street in Denver. I know on this flyer that I'm sharing, it says RSVP by December 20th, but we just kind of wanted to give a last shout if anyone is interested in joining. If you are, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the chat to this page that I have pulled up here. That will have information about where you can RSVP to. If you click on this image, it should. No, it won't. I also apologize. They're doing construction outside my door, so if it's loud, ignore it. But you can email Latoya Pranti to RSVP to that event tomorrow. And then I did just want to also, I know that you all are probably here because you live in the Boulder County area, but if you do know anyone who is outside of Boulder County and wants to get involved in a local coordinating council, learn more about transportation, share some resources, I encourage you to also check out that link that I put in the chat. And there's some information on what a local coordinating council is, when the other counties meet. There's links to either register for those meetings or reach out to the appropriate person. So if you know anyone who's interested in joining their own county's local coordinating council, that information is there as well. So if anyone is able to make it tomorrow, I'm excited to meet you all in person. This is super exciting. We haven't had an in-person meeting in a while, so we'll have some food, some awards, some wonderful speakers. So it should be a good time. So just wanted to share that out. If you're interested, can reach out to us, and I'll put that email of where you can RSVP in the chat as well, so it's there. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to share out.
Great, thank you so much, Seth. I'm excited. I know that there's a group of us going. There's a few of the members. Lindsay, I think, said she's going. Katrina, Lisa Bitzer's going to be there. Some of the Mobility for All staff. So we're excited. It'll be good to see everybody in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Any questions for Steph about the appreciation lunch tomorrow? Did we get like a meal plan? Like what's going on? What are y'all serving?
Yeah, I believe we're gonna have catering from Illegal Pete's. So we figured that was a kind of a build your own option. If you're vegetarian, there'll be some options as well. So yeah.
Perfect, wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and then next I'm gonna turn it over to Jessica, who's gonna actually, does anybody else have any other transportation updates that they want to provide before we move on to the Mobility Heroes? You can go ahead and put them in the chat, and then we'll circle back if we have time after our presentation brainstorming session. So we'll go ahead and start with Jessica. She is going to overview the Mobility Heroes selection process. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
I like that graphic. I didn't see it before.
It's so cute.
Yeah, thank you, Angel. So some of you may remember last year I had asked during a couple of our MAC meetings for everybody to share and spread the word about the Mobility Heroes survey that we launched for the second time. So this time we want to recognize the Mobility Heroes from 2023. We received a good amount of responses, so that was made me very happy. And I was going through the results, and we decided that it would be a good exercise for the MAC for you to see the people who were nominated in all the different categories. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna create 4 different breakout rooms, and each group is going to read the responses for each category And we're going to do it this way. So group 1 is going to review the favorite bus driver submissions, because we have a lot of those. Group 2 is going to review 2 different categories: favorite school bus driver and favorite transportation professional. Group 3 is going to review favorite safety professional and favorite for-profit transportation professional. And group 4 is favorite volunteer driver and other categories, other heroes who are uncategorized. We hope that, it's an insightful, good exercise, I think, to realize who we want to commemorate. And let's say that the winners, the people who we choose to recognize, they will be interviewed, and they will be part of a campaign to help promote drivers and driver appreciation. And that's gonna hopefully be running or starting soon. But we need to know who we're gonna interview. So this is what we need your help with. I see some people leaving, so I'm gonna, I already had some of the groups, but I'm going to move some people from one group to the other. And I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to review. This is the link to access the document. Is a spreadsheet. So each group is going to go to the specific category that they're going to review. And I will see you in 10 minutes or so. Okay, I'm opening the rooms right now. And let me know if you have any questions.
Welcome back. I started the recording again, Jessica.
Oh, great. Thank you, Angel. Is everybody back? I think so. Okay, so we can go through this relatively fast. So let's hear from group number 1. Corey, Frank, Gail, and Stephanie, you were reviewing favorite bus driver, looking at that category. Do you have any comments that you want to share with the group?
And I would just say that I kind of felt the need to recuse a bit because I've got a bunch of drivers in there.
Yeah, it was hard. I was telling this to Zoe too. There's a lot of nominations for VIA in different categories, so I didn't want to not include you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We I can make some comments about group 1. We didn't really, our notes aren't very complete. Like we didn't have enough time, and it was really hard figuring it. Like we just kept saying, like, I feel like everyone's kind of deserving of it, because it's all transit drivers are super valuable, and reading all of these stories of just how everyone's kind of willing to like go above and beyond and make the experience so great for the riders is awesome. But Corey had a really good point about whether or not the comments were from a driver's perspective or the organizational perspective of like, I work with this driver and they're really great, versus as a rider, this is my experience as a rider. So that was something that we he just mentioned before we hopped off. So that was kind of something that we're thinking about that could be important.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I think that's the reason why we want to interview them, just to hear, to tell them this is what people are saying about you. How do you think about your work? And then capture that and create a campaign, not only to celebrate them as drivers, but also to help, promote the profession and share places where people can find jobs as drivers too. Awesome. Well, thank you. Any other comments from group 1? Otherwise, we can move on to group number 2. Amy, Darcy, Marisa, Megan, Melissa, and Robert. Does anybody want to talk about the notes that you added to the spreadsheet?
Yeah, I can start us off. we didn't get through them all. Obviously, the discussion went a little bit that we were like, we wanted to acknowledge everyone's hard work because there are a lot of really awesome narratives in here. The one that kind of stood out to me personally was the Netherlands school bus driver named Tony. It just seems like he goes above and beyond, and in an area that doesn't really have a lot of transit options, it seems like he really shines. So it's my personal vote. But there's a lot of really awesome folks that are involved. So it is really hard to narrow things down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Melissa. And wait, did you have a question, Angel? Oh, let's see. Let's move on to group number 3 first. So that is Danny, Sarah, and Sammy.
I wrote on our notes, so I'll chime in. And you know, y'all, Danny and Sarah, feel free to jump in. And I felt similarly with Frank, where I saw a VIA person and I was like, I nominated Phil, so maybe I should pull back. But I think where we landed was number 1 with Mike from the Netherlands Middle Senior High School, because it was really compelling to us that he does both driving, but also safety and security. And it shows that he's really a fixture in the school system there. And then number 2, we had said was Phil. I had forgotten to put in my nomination that Phil helps a lot with preparing go bags for a crisis response, and he plays a really large role in that. So wanted to share that. And with favorite for-profit transportation professional, Simon from 8 Black stood out to us because he does so much and also does a lot of charity work. So that's really huge. That shows a lot of commitment to the county. And number 2, we had put for Sam, and we had kind of cut off there. So group, let me know if I got that wrong, but we put number 2 for Sam from Lyft because he goes the extra mile to help the older riders with stairs and packages, and a Lyft driver does not need to do anything like that. So it's really kind that he goes above and beyond to help community members.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoe, and thank you to group number 3. Let's move on to the last one, group number 4. That'll be Adriana, Elaine, Jen, Joan, and Miranda. Does anybody want to speak to your group's comments?
I guess we had some issues just trying to figure out, you know, without it, not each one listed like who is the person, so we weren't always clear. It seemed like Catherine had more than one vote, which to me was a good indication of she seems to be deserving of getting interviewed. And then just there were really glowing comments about Mark. So there were ones I was leaning to. I didn't quite get to see if that was, you know, full group agreement on that. And we kind of didn't really wind up with time to talk about the uncategorized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I agree with all of you. I know that this is a difficult task because if people took time of their days to chime in and mention a specific bus driver or transportation professional, then yes, I think they should get the serve. They will, you know, we will have the list of all nominated people, but we'll just interview a few. So I wonder if Angel was suggesting if we should have people volunteer for a selection committee. Is that something that people will be interested in? Or if you feel okay with the conversation that we had.
Sounds like they're okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Frank.
Just going to say that we're going to leave it to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I might think about it. But I think this was a good first step, and I appreciate your comments and your notes. And I'll go back and review those notes, and then yeah, we'll get started with this campaign. And I'm excited to share the final results once we have it. Thank you.
So just curious, I think we never quite got the answer on Jessica of like from each category. How many people do you think you might do an interview with? And is that screened for the final award basically?
Yeah, so there's 7 categories, and I was hoping that at least one person per category would be interviewed. Since this is a whole marketing campaign, we also need to talk with the marketing firm that we will be hiring. So we need to like review that creative process, but at least 7, that's my hope. It's to be determined though.
Yeah. And last year we gave everybody a certificate, and then people got like a plaque if they like were one of the top in their categories. So we'll probably do something similar. Great. Well, thank you, Jessica. I know it's been a lot, and it's a great, fun process. I can't wait to see like what comes of it. The one last thing that we have, and I know we're getting to the time, is brainstorming presentation ideas for 2024. So we already have one presentation scheduled. We're going to have South Boulder Road. Dr. Cog is leading that effort, but they're going to come and present next month. But I went ahead and put in the chat the Menti link. So we'll go ahead, and also I have a QR code on this one. I went back and added it. So if you want to, and this is just going to be open response, brainstorm ideas for like any projects that you know of that you'd like to get presentations on. So it looks like we have one person. Once you get in, if you could go ahead and click the thumbs up, that'll help me know like how many people are in the in Menti. Jessica, I forget, how many people do we have now? About 19?
Yep. Mine is 4.
So I'll wait until we get about like 15 or 16 people for this. Okay. We have 14. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. So this is just open open ideas. So we're looking for presentation ideas for like transportation projects, human services projects, any updated information. So the months that we're going to have presentations are going to be February, May, August, and November. And just to kind of recap, we have 4 meetings that are really kind of internally focused, like this one, where we have our members give updates and we kind of focus on what internally we want to do as a MAC. We have 4 meetings that are going to be like presentations from the outside. And then we also have 4 meetings that are going to be panel discussions. Actually, I think we're going to do 3 panel discussions. So that balance of those 3 different buckets is what we're looking for. So I see there's 4 people. Also, you can go ahead and just chime in if you have an idea that you don't want to add to Menti. Anybody have any ideas for presentations? So somebody said that they would love to see a presentation on youth transportation services. I love that. Thank you.
How do you type it? Sorry. I can't find the
I think at the bottom of Sarah, there's a button that says open Q&A.
Oh,
and then you
thank you.
That, and
oh
then
my
you
gosh. Okay.
And
I found it. Thank you.
I think I probably selected the wrong one for Menti because it's more Q&A than what it is like the open-ended like comments questions. So we have a youth transportation services presentation request, a panel about e-bikes, a panel about multimodal transportation, Presentation on successful volunteer driver programs and how to recruit and retain drivers. I like that one.
I'd like to see a presentation on the accessible transportation and as it relates to job seekers and the entire workforce industry.
Yeah, that's great. So we did a essential worker panel discussion, so maybe some presentations on resources that are available. Is that what you're looking for, Robert?
Yes.
Okay, great. A panel discussion on renewable energy powered and or sustainable transportation solutions. Disability panel on dealing with transportation. Bringing in CDOT reps to review funding opportunities and best means to work with them. I like that. Information on funding crisis that DRCOG is facing that will impact the paratransit in the metro area. Can somebody speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, Angel, it's Frank. I put that down. We've been meeting regularly with DRCOG representatives, and they are facing an $8 million, I don't want to call it a shortfall, but that's just the reality in terms of funding that they'll have available for paratransit in the metropolitan area, in the DRCOG area. And I know they're looking at ways to try to offset that. Might include legislation, but it's an ongoing situation, but we know it's gonna be quite impactful.
Okay. Thank you, Frank, for elaborating on that. And it might be tied to what Lindsay was talking about the Senate bill and funding for the Older Coloradans Act.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, youth safety while driving or walking, especially teen drivers. I would love to see a presentation on youth transportation services. Presentation on I think we're like looping back around again, aren't we? Presentation on successful volunteer driver programs and how to recruit and retain. It looks like we're CDOT. Okay, discussion on older drivers and offering options so that they can quit driving. I like that. Yeah, okay. And I'll go ahead and leave this open. So if you have any other ideas, like in the next 5 minutes or whatever, as we end the meeting, you can go ahead and add those. And then we'll review some ideas and plans for the next meeting. But just want to thank you all for joining today at our new time and new day of the month. I really appreciate all of your collaboration and can't wait to see what 2024 brings.
Thank you all. Thank you to Savannah and Jen for being here too as volunteers. Don't forget to add this to your volunteer time.
Thank you.